understand that you all have reached a verdict, Mr. Foreperson, is that correct? All right, and was it unanimous? All right, and this verdict has been filled in and signed and dated by you, correct? Or for each defendant. All right, and I noticed that Mr. Kendrick's verdict form is dated December 2nd. Is that because that's when you all reached the verdict with regard to him? Okay, and then Mr. Stillwell's is dated today. Okay. All right, Mr. Kendrick, you have been found not guilty on all charges. Mr. Stillwell, please stand. You have been found guilty on count 64, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, and not guilty on every other charge. So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you are officially released from further service, and I cannot express the degree of thanks that Fulton County owes you for your service. Given the length of this trial, you have paid close attention this entire time, and I appreciate your devotion, as I'm sure do the parties in this case. You are welcome to stay for the sentencing, or you can return to the jury room. I would like to speak with you in just a moment in the jury room. If you all do want to stay, you're welcome to stay. Is there any objection to the form or the legality of this verdict? Any from the defense? All right. All right, is there any reason that we can't go ahead and sentence? You may.
You shot straight, but you shot late. Hi, Lem. This is the Rundown Podcast.
I'm gonna give you the rundown.
Say man, hey man, it's OG Jucario. Now I'm back at you with another one. And I had to come spin the YouTube block, because if you've been following the YSL RICO trial, you know that Young Thug took a 15-year probation plea deal. That's right, you guys. He pleaded guilty to those RICO charges and some of the charges he didn't plead guilty to, right? But you have Thug taking that 15-year probation deal with breaking news that the last two co-defendants on that RICO trial were just found not guilty, all except for one count with Shannon Stillwell, one of the co-defendants, right? He was found guilty of having a firearm and being in possession of that firearm while he's a convicted felon. So everything else was found not guilty, you guys. And the other co-defendant, Yak Gotti, he was found not guilty on all charges. And as I just reported yesterday, Yak Gotti was attacked in jail, you guys. He was stabbed by one of those jailhouse assassins, somebody trying to take old Yak out before this verdict was read. And according to reports, it says that jurors returned a verdict on Tuesday in the long-running RICO trial against the alleged Young Slime Life, or YSL street gang. On their fourth day of deliberations Tuesday, the jury determined that the two final remaining defendants in the case, Diamante Kendrick, aka Yak Gotti, and Shannon Stillwell, were almost entirely not guilty. Kendrick was found not guilty on all the counts against him, and Stillwell was found guilty only on one count, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Stillwell was sentenced in court and will leave a free man. He was given 10 years, only 2 of to serve in jail, and he was credited with time already served, which amounts to more than 10 years. The remainder of the sentence is probation, right? And meanwhile, a status hearing for the other 11 defendants who have not gone to trial is scheduled for later Tuesday morning. The trial centered on accusations of murder and gang-related activities, with prosecutors alleging YSL is a criminal organization. The defense maintains that YSL is a legitimate music label founded by rapper Young Thug, who was the highest profile defendant in the case. Young Thug left jail in Cobb County in October after more than 2 years, of being held without bond after he successfully maneuvered with a partial guilty plea for a more favorable sentence directly from Judge Paige Whitaker than what was being offered in deals by prosecutors. Over the past year, prosecutors presented evidence such as police testimony, social media posts, and song lyrics to bolster their claims. Defense teams have countered, emphasizing the lack of concrete ties between the defendants' artistic expressions and alleged criminal activities. Well, there you have it, you guys. The YSL RICO trial ends with those last two co-defendants, right? With Yak Gotti receiving a not guilty verdict on all counts, okay? And I think he had like close to 9 counts. And you have Shannon Stillwell, he was convicted of only 1 count and the rest not guilty. And the best part of all this is that these guys don't have to spend the rest of their life in prison, as you know, all these charges carry a life in prison term. So, you know, that's good for these guys, man, that they get to go home to their families, you know what I mean? And obviously justice was served, you know. This was a year-long trial and one of the longest in the state of Georgia's history. So, you know, pretty sure that the jury, they looked over all the evidence, like Yak Gotti's attorney was saying. His attorney was saying they had a good chance after they actually seen the evidence and the jury was able to deliberate and give a fair trial. So, you know, now that Thug, you know, has already pleaded out to a partial guilty plea, you know, he's stuck with that 15-year probation sentence that he agreed to. And I feel like Thug could have possibly held on a little longer. And maybe he could have basked in the glory as well as being found not guilty on all charges. But hey, guess Thug didn't want to take that chance, you guys. And even Thug's father said that he felt like his son should have stuck in there just to see what the outcome could have been, you know, in his favor or not. But, you know, hey, man, Thug had to do what he had to do. But at the end of the day, you know, as you just heard, those last 2 co-defendants not guilty on all charges. And at least the charges that would have brought a life in prison term, right? And then with Shannon Stillwell being found guilty of that 1 charge of being convicted felon in the possession of a weapon. So, y'all keep it locked to OG Jucario TV for the latest in rap, hip-hop, celebrity, and urban news. You're watching the Rundown Podcast. I appreciate everybody for spinning with me. I appreciate all my subscribers for sliding with your boy every time. And say, man, hey, man, keep hitting that like button, keep hitting that subscribe button, and look, turn on post notification so we can slide whenever I get the drop. You already know what it is, man. It's deeper than Buddha, you hear me? And guess what? I'm gone.